Hello everyone, welcome back to the final episode of Sunday Night Live, the final of the season with Antik Batik founder Gabriella Cortese, and I hope we'll manage this time to have her join. Gabriella. Salut Laetitia. Christina, fingers crossed. I invited Gabriella again, so hopefully this time it will work. Where are you, Laetitia? Oh yes, Antik Batik, of course. She's on the Antik Batik account. I'm so sorry. That's my not the account of Gabriella, of course. Hello, Mathilde.
Hello.
Welcome.
Pardon.
Like actually, I knew it would be from the Antik Batik account, so sorry for that. No, we can't hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect now.
Yes, this is from Antik Batik, right?
And where are you now? Are you in your office?
I'm in Milano, working hard, shooting the next campaign, web campaign, women campaign. We are working for 14 days by now, so it's very, very long. And for the first time, I'm shooting the men collection.
Yes, because you're launching men for the first time. When is it launched?
We will launch in next summer in February 2024.
And I love the campaign with Hugo Marchand. That's Hugo Marchand, right?
No, Germain Louvet.
Germain Louvet.
He's the dancer, the étoile dancer of opera.
Yes.
And we did the wonderful pictures with Germain dancing and doing pirouette and in movement. Very nice.
And so you're in the office right now, because I see behind you there's a run show, or like
in a studio where we are shooting the next collection in Milano.
Wow, it makes me feel better. I'm not the only one who's not on the beach yet.
Yes, and hope the vacation will start very soon.
Very soon, on Wednesday.
Good.
For making time for us. I'm so glad that we managed. We've been in contact for such a long time. Also, Elisa said that we came last season.
Yes, I was waiting for you to invite me. I'm very happy that you invite me.
So tell me, Gabriella, I would like to go to your beginnings. Yes. I know that you grew up in Italy, in Turin.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I was born in Torino, and I live in Torino until 18 years old. Mm-hmm. And then I moved to Paris because I was crazy in love of this beautiful country that is France. Mm-hmm. And that's it. And then since then I'm almost French.
And you learned French when you arrived, or you spoke French before?
I learned French in the school. Mm-hmm. And then of course I was when I moved to France, I was talking like in a literature book, so it was very difficult to understand me in old French, you know. So but then now it's about 39 years that I live in France, and my son is half French and Italian, so I'm almost French.
And one thing, when I read about you, one thing that struck me about you arriving in France, you danced at the Crazy Horse.
That's the scoop. Yeah, it was a big scandal for my family, actually. but Crazy Horse was very, of course, I was doing classical dance in Italy. So when I moved to France and it came to gain some money, I was looking. I said, okay, I know how to dance. So I was taken in the Crazy Horse. When I did the, how do you say, the Provino, I was the only one taken. And I was 18 years old. So can you imagine my family scandal?
And how was it? Did you enjoy dancing there?
Yeah, I enjoy a lot, especially for because I start to live in the night, you know. So I was I think one of the best client in Bandouche and Palace for many years. And dancing was very, you know, it's very important even for the fashion after that. Because the light was covering the bodies, so the designs going on the bodies, and it was that's how I start to do transparent garments with Antik Batik since the beginning, which was very, very strange for the time, you know. First of all, I start with one pareo with Antik Batik. Because I was going to Bali, I had all my friends surfers, and so we wrap ourselves with the pareo. So I start to do my designs and my prints, and I was doing the prints by hand in batik, block prints after in India. And that's how everything started, you know. And then I was doing the transparent blouses in silk with the prints that were covering the bodies. And the people were saying to me, but how can I wear that? You know, you wear transparent, you're naked.
Because that's what you were wearing at the Crazy Horse when you were there. Yeah, so that was the inspiration. And I also read the pareo and the aesthetic was very unusual in the 90s, because in the 90s trend was minimalist or minimalistic.
Yes, very unusual. We start, of course, there was the big brands, the big designers, you know, that I always admire the quality of the things and embroideries and the prints. And then the fashion was very minimalist at the time. Maybe there was Kenzo, there was Anne-Marie Beretta, there was Doro Tennis, you know, these kind of brands. But when I start to show the prints, first of all, people, they were a little skeptical, but it went very, very well very soon. And we had queues, big queues of people that everybody wanted the pareo. And then the pareo very soon became a scarf in the winter. And then after that, I start to do other products, you know.
It's funny because there are many mono products brands now, but you were a pioneer in doing in focusing on one product, and then you expanded, but it was only...
Yes. And then I start with crochet, because when I was little girl, I was in the house all the time, annoying myself. So my mother, she used to occupy me with doing crochet, doing knitting, doing point de croix, you know, embroideries, all these kind of things. So the next step after the pareo was the bikini in crochet, and then the hat in crochet, you know, the bob in crochet. So that was the big the big beginning. And at that time, what it was very important that for the first day of my life, when I start in fashion, I start a fashion that was sustainable. I always work with handicraft people. I push those people to value their work, because at the beginning, what was done by hand was not respected, and what was done by machine was very much respected. So I try to change that state of mind and create something that was like magical, you know, a group of people working all together, weaving, knitting, and block printing. So it was very, very interesting for me.
But wait, going back to the Crazy Horse, when did you stop dancing there? When you started going to Bali and you realized that you could do a business with the pareo, is that correct?
Yes, it's correct. It was like refreshing my mind after a time where I was going nowhere with the dancing. It was not my world. It was not my, you know, I didn't want to spend my life going out all the night and dancing with almost naked. So I needed to refresh my mind. And so I started traveling. And I went to Bali, and that's when I started Antik Batik, you know, and it was a very nice time for me.
Yeah. And then so you started the block printing. I really love this technique. I was very fortunate. I went to India thanks to the Dior for the Dior show, and we saw this technique of block printing. It's really fascinating to watch. It's really intense, very physical when you see them do it.
Yes, it's great. It's great. It's something like for me when I'm out of time in the factory working with the people, creating new blocks, because it's like something that has to be protected by UNESCO, because it's a time that will not stand for a long time, because the young people are not used, they don't want to work too much in that field.
Yeah.
And then you have all the old people, they do the best designs. I do my drawings, and then they create the blocks, and they can create one design, can be even 15 blocks. And all the blocks, they go together, one in each other. And then it's a technique that so beautiful. No, every time I go there, I feel I'm a kid again, and my creation part come out in a very sensitive way, you know. And I'm working with the same people in India since 30 years by now. So for me, it's very, very important to create that bridge of understanding with the people, even without language, because Hindi now, I understand Hindi very well, but everywhere I went, trying to work in a handicraft way, of course, we didn't understand each other, but through the creation, through something that make you so happy, the bridge was done, you know.
And the brand took off very quickly. As you said, people really enjoyed your pareo, and then you created a full line of ready-to-wear. How did you feel when it started being very successful?
Yes, it went up very fast. And at that time I had no, you know, I was running fast, but we were not super well organized. So it was a very nice time, I think. What to say? It's super nice to have a company that everybody like your products. Everybody wear your products, and we were dressing up actors and singers, and we were to Cannes Festival. We had a suite in Cannes and dress up everybody. So it was a magic time.
And you never want investors. I think it's fascinating because it's so rare, brands that don't have investors. You've done it on your
Yes. For the moment, we are on our own, which is good, because to grow, it's a good thing, you know. To be, I'm everywhere. I'm la femme orchestre, which is very important. You see, I'm in the shooting in Milano, and I'm on the selling. I'm everywhere. I have a very strong team, very good team. and let's see how we go.
So you could be open one day. You could consider if you need to have some investors.
Yes, but investor people who are in that field.
Yeah.
Not only bank money. I don't want bank money.
Yeah. And so we spoke about the time when it was very successful, but at some point it was harder and you had to pause your brand. So
yes,
can you tell us about that period?
It was a very hard time because I had to focus everything and reconstruct everything from zero with a very good small team. And very important because, for example, you know, in Europe we don't like people that fail, but whenever you go, everybody in his own life fail one time and start again something else. The most important thing is to remain focused and especially put your ego in the pocket, because most of the people, they become sick because they fail, and failure are making you even stronger to rebuild something. What is very important is to have very strong roots. It's like a tree, you know, you have to have the racines strong to build up something very, very big.
But it was very brave of you to not give up and keep. It's true that it's more an American mindset to say, well, I haven't succeeded then, but it's part of the process and I will start again and never give up.
Yes. It's a period of time where you have to be brave, of course. But you know, it's complicated because when you are have a company, you have to have the cerveau droit et cerveau gauche permanently. You know, the brain, right brain and left brain permanently. So it's very complicated when you see yourself and you say, okay, what can I do next? Start again. This is the best thing to do, and make a treasure of what made me fail.
So what made you fail, and what were the lessons, and what did you do differently the second time?
I built up the team in a different way. I'm constantly on the things that you know, before I was thinking maybe somebody else can resolve something that make me a little bored, and now everything is, all the aspects of the company are very interesting and I'm very focused on everything, and it's learning every day.
Yeah, it's true that you have all the skills. You're the CEO, you're the designer, you do everything.
Yes.
But you've never closed the brand, and you kept the name, and also you kept this space that is now the store of Antik Batik.
Yes.
It was your office, and then it became.
Yes. It became our boutique. It's a very nice space in the Marais, and it became because everything was becoming more intimate. So the boutique became intimate. We did a boudoir, all printed with our prints done by block prints, where you can sit and chill and feel like at home. And what is very important is that even the business is changing, you know. I had the boutiques before, and now we are going very strongly on the website. So it's a different kind of business, which is very interesting and very with young people. So it's super.
But the style is very much the same. You've remained faithful to your aesthetic of how to describe it. It's often described as boho chic. I don't know.
Yes.
Boho.
Let's say that I don't want to be too much, but we create in one way the boho chic, because of course there was the years of 70s where I grew up with my mother, so that was like my muse, you know, to see what she was wearing in the 70s and 75, 80.
I have to say your mother is so chic. I saw her on your Instagram. She's so elegant.
Thank you very much. and but at that time in the 90s there was no boho chic, so people create, let's say that we create the name that at the beginning it was like sort of ethnic, but ethnic, I like the idea of ethnic like in a historical costume way, but it's quite old word, if you want. So we create that boho chic, bohemian chic, bohemienne. That was a woman who was traveling a lot, because you take back the garments from traveling, and when you wear it, you cannot wear it. So it was like mettre au goût du jour, something that you take out from the travels, you know. So and also what was very, very important for me, it was that I was from Torino. Torino is it's a town where people have a classical aesthetics, but my grandmother was Hungarian, so for me was the step going through the Oriental way of being. So the prints and the embroideries, they were full of colors because they were already somehow Oriental. So going and traveling and discovering India, it was like going in a cavern d'Ali Baba, you know. I started to do the embroideries with people who were doing embroideries for the haute couture. At that time, in 90s, nobody was going, I mean, there was very few people going to India. So that's the magic that gives me a lot of strength also. Yeah. Coming back, working with all these people and supporting them and going on with them, you know, having new skills in the factories to evolve together, and then coming back and sell those products. It was for me something very important, you know.
Christina says Macron. I think it's
yes.
That you need to speak about Macron for some reason.
Yes, because
Emmanuel Macron.
I was invited in the official tour in India by Emmanuel Macron. I was in his flight, and I was part of artistic and cultural team. And so at that, I think this is a very nice, you know, upgrading step, because you feel that people they have esteem for you, of what you are doing, you know. So it was an achievement of the 30 years of my hard work in India. And I went there like the person who pulls up India, pulls up the handicraft through France. So I was very, and then I was at the dinner for Narendra Modi at the Louvre a few weeks ago. So, voilà.
Louvre? It was an exhibition?
No, it was Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, Indian Prime Minister, came in Paris for the 14th of July. Yeah. And there was a big dinner at the Louvre on the 14th.
And who else was there in this trip to India with Emmanuel Macron on the flight? Who was in the flight with you?
In the flight with me, all the big, how do you say, president of companies that they had to send, they have to sell something or sign contracts. And then I was with Emmanuel Carrière. I was with the intellectual people who how do you say, who talk about India in a very nice way.
I love Emmanuel Carrère's books.
Yes.
And I'm sure for you as an Italian, it was really an honor also to be part of this French delegation, to have.
Very big honor. And yeah, but you know, living in India since almost 39 years, it makes me being almost French, but with a very, very Italian heart.
Mm-hmm. Someone said Alain Ducasse, was he there also in the trip?
No, Alain Ducasse wasn't there. There was Alain Passard.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
And so what's next for the brand, the men's line? So that's a big, why were you, what led you to create a men's collection?
I wanted to have a men collection since long. That was, I felt that was the right time, especially now men take some, have more freedom. They become more round in the way of dressing up. So they have more freedom in wearing things, maybe with embroideries or cut out. So that was the right time.
That's interesting. So they're embracing this look of boho chic as well.
Yes, completely.
Can you show us what you're wearing? Because I think that's your best-selling, one of your best-selling products, right?
Yes, this is a booty gilet, which is done in cotton, printed by hand in block prints, and with the lining in another color, and it's quilted. Yes. It's the way of Indian do the winter clothes, they quilt. So it's always something, you know, having a step in the past and step in the future, you know, and I love what is, how do you say, vintage and ethnical vintage, but seeing with an European eye, which is very important.
Yes. Well, before we wrap up this conversation, I have a last question. Do you still dance?
No, I have a way of doing my work. Like, you know, I was like an athlete, and I do my work in that way. So I don't dance, I do sports. I wish I could dance still, but I have no time. I'm very workaholic. I work a lot, and I give all my time to my work, to my passion.
You traveled as before?
I travel a lot, and I have, yes.
Okay, so your way of dancing or working out is your work. I can many head companies are like athletes. Many CEOs are like athletes, and you have the same core and discipline and.
Yes, you have to be, when you're CEO, when you have that kind of pressure, you have to be with the mind all the time at the same step, at the same level. So I do everything to keep my mind very positive through the food, the sleep, acupuncture, treatments, everything, and sports, and that's how I can give the best of myself.
And Christina says that you will dance with Germain Louvet. That would be a really good campaign.
I know, I feel ashamed. He's such a good dancer.
That would be wonderful. Well, Gabriella, it was such a pleasure having you on Sunday Night Live for the final season of the final of the season before the break. So you're taking some time off, right? Even though
yes,
you're workaholic.
Next week, some time off. Yes.
Great. I hope we can meet in person after the summer break. And
I hope so.
yes, I'd love that.
Yes, I would love that.
Christina said so many people connected. Yes, that's it's so nice. It's really the middle of the summer now, so it's very flattering.
Yes, very flattering. Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
And thank you. Yes.
And thank you, Matthew, for joining us. And thank you, all our friends here. And have a great summer. And Sunday Night Live will be back in September.
Yes. Let's meet in September, beginning of September.
Okay. Bye. Ciao.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye.